Action! Okay, dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to make magic on the internet. Today's little mini coaching sermon is around the theme, and I think I put this in a newsletter recently, but I'm just going to highlight it even more of we don't know until we go. And the idea of like we can have all these ideas swirling around in our head. And I mean, I have literally had thousands of people go through my programs, my coaching communities, my offerings over the years. And I've seen so many people get stuck in the swirling part of like ideation and never fully executing into the realm of action taking. And mostly because people fear the unknown. We're afraid of like, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if nobody purchases it? What if I fail? What if all the what ifs? And the what ifs cause everybody to just like stop and not take the action. And I will say, if you have an idea for a workshop, it doesn't take a tremendous amount of time to plan what that training would be, that workshop could be. It doesn't take a lot of time. It might take you several hours, it might take you a day, but it could be worth the day just spent doing it and it not working out versus spinning the wheels for a year around the idea and never actually moving forward with it. And oftentimes when we'll do a launch, and I did this for the flagship training, which starts tomorrow, is around doing like an early bird discount. Your first 30 days, if you have, say, you're able to launch it or start promoting it 60 or 90 days before the program actually starts, you do an early bird discount of like, hey, if you get in the next 30 days, you get the early bird discount, save an extra 25%, then the prices go up, and then you wait a little bit, and then you really start the promotional period. And oftentimes, if you're doing a launch for a program and you do that early bird thing, you can get a good sense if the people who follow your work are actually interested in what you're doing, so you know if you should continue on. We always did pre-sale. I've always done pre-sales for stuff. This has always been the strategy. The first ever like really massive course we did, the Great E-Course Adventure, which is inside the Magic Mind, and that was like our Indiana Jones meets Saturday Night Live course that we spent 9 months making it, and we had no idea if it was going to work. And so we had the concept of like creating an entertainment based online learning experience, and we wanted to test it on our audience. And so we created a minimal viable product of like all the first videos on green screen, and we created a mini version of the platform we were intending, and then we pre-sold the whole experience, and that ended up funding us to spend 9 months building this behemoth training experience. And so the idea of like, we don't know until we go. If you have ideas swirling around, build a landing page and pre-sell it and see if you get people who want what you're selling. Option two is create a mini version of that experience. Create a mini workshop. The way I validated my signature workshop training last year, which did about $60,000 in signups, which was pretty good. The way that I did that was I validated it through my business of meditation, or no, sorry, through my thriving in business without social media. I kept doing that same thing, and everybody who would go to those, when I would ask at the end of the workshop, what is one or two strategies you're going to move forward with? And the number one thing everybody says, I got to get a signature workshop going. When I kept hearing that, it was like, okay, well, that's my next training I'm going to do. And so you can offer a mini workshop. It could be an hour-long workshop. It could be a 2-hour-long paid workshop. It could be a 3-hour-long paid workshop where you test the idea, and it's either a free experience or it's a paid experience. And if you get a great response to that, then okay, cool. I'm going to make a $500 version or a $1,000 version of this particular program. And you got to just test the waters, and you just don't know until you put it out there officially to your audience. And then an even more micro way to test the waters with your audience is just to send out a survey or create little articles or content pieces around that topic and see what kind of response and feedback you get there. But I would just say, if you have something that's tapping you on the shoulders long enough, it's probably a good sign that you should just do the thing and see what you learn. And like, I haven't had too many launches over the years that were just total flops, but like last year, I created the outline, the landing page, and everything for the create your comedy commercials training, and nobody signed up. I was like, great, nobody in my audience really cares about this. So I still think it's going to be an amazing training. I know what I'm going to do in it. It's already mapped out. And I'm going to wait until we have a huge success with our comedy commercials when we launch them next month. And then I'll be like, here's what we did with comedy. And this is the traction they got. And here's 31 commercials that you can binge through to get some ideas around what you could do. And then I'll relaunch that. It doesn't mean that it was like a total failure. It's like I set up the infrastructure. I maybe spent a day planning it, building the landing page, creating some landing page copy or all the copy and the brand and all that stuff. I'm like, no big deal. We'll get back to it. And so I just want to encourage everybody here in the room right now, everybody watching this in the future, just like be courageous. And if you got an idea, then give it the light of day. Move it forward. Don't overthink it. It's like you'll launch version 1, and if version 1 does well, then you can always relaunch it. And the whole purpose of the flagship training this coming week is to create a paid offering that you could run again and again and again, once a year, twice a year, every quarter, whatever it might be, depending on what your flow and intention is. And I wrote an article about this the other day, and I don't know if I hit the nail right, but if you look at any big name training company that does like workshops and retreats and they guide, like if you look at Tony Robbins' business model or anybody of that nature that does like large trainings, they all have flagship trainings. Every single one of them has like, you go through this program, then you go through this program, and they have all of them have these like multi-day or multi-month experiences, both online and in person. And it just because they don't want to keep reinventing the wheel every single time they launch a program. It's just like, we do this once a year, we do this once a year, we do this once a year, and then they can keep refining the systems. Instead of having to like rewrite all the copy, they just improve the copy. And over the course of like years and years and years, they create these incredible systems that they just keep promoting the same things. They keep improving those experiences, keep building their audience around those offerings, and it's that simple. So as we sit here today, I'm just like contemplating what our gifts are and what we're bringing to the world. It's like it's a step-by-step process. Having the signature workshop that you can tour for free, and then having more offerings that can springboard from there. And we can only do it one at a time. And I would just invite everybody that if there's that idea that's swirling around inside, it's like, you don't know till you go. So just give it a shot. Take the steps to test the waters with your audience, whether it's trying to pre-sell an early bird price or if it's just trying to create some content around it. You can go any way you want to go. And the reason I stuck with the flagship training is because we had pre-sales straight out of the gate when I offered a couple $100 off, like back in November or something like that. And I was like, okay, people want this. This is great. And yeah, so far attendance is looking pretty decent. So happy with that. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.